It's night. Somewhere in northern France, 1944, the air is cold enough to sting your cheeks, yet thick with the smell of oil and exhaust. Diesel engines growl in the distance low, steady and endless. You can almost feel the vibration through the ground, through the soles of your boots, through your very bones. You stand in a line that docents seemed. End, men shifting their weight, rifles hanging loosely against their shoulders, helmets tilted low, catching the faint orange reflection of a lantern swinging from a truck. Mud sucks at your boots when you move. That wet, heavy sound that belongs only to soldiers and rain. Somewhere nearby, someone coughs. Another man mutters a prayer he has repeated so many times. The words have lost their meaning. You breathe in cold air, laced with smoke. You can taste it like metal, like something burnt long ago but still lingering. You exhale, and your breath drifts away like a small white ghost into the dark. This is what war smells like before it begins. This is what waiting feels like when there's nowhere left to go. And now, quietly, a question comes to you. It isn't shouted. It's not asked by anyone around you. It just rises in your mind, uninvited, as steady as the heartbeat in your chest. Would you survive? Would you survive the cold, the fear? The long nights, where every sound becomes a threat. The trucks idle for hours, lined along the narrow dirt road. Somewhere far off, artillery thunders a deep, distant pulse, like a storm over the horizon. You feel it before you hear it. The ground trembles slightly. That is the sound of someone else's battle tonight. Tomorrow, it will be yours. You pull your jacket tighter. The wool scratches your neck, damp from mist and sweat. Inside your helmet, it is quiet, only your own breath, your heartbeat, the faint metallic click when you shift your chin strap. Time here is strange. It doesn't flow, it stretches. Every minute is thick, slow, deliberate. Home feels like another life now. A photograph folded in your pocket, its edges soft from being touched too many times. The trucks rumble louder. Someone shouts an order. The line begins to shift. You climb onto the tailgate, boots scraping metal. Inside, it's cramped. The air smells of fuel, wet wool, and fear disguised as small talk. The truck lurches forward, and the convoy begins to roll, one after another. Into the dark. Out the back, the camp lights shrink, swallowed by fog. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that brings history to life. The sound of steam, a slow hiss, breathing through the dark morning air. It hangs low, thick with coal smoke and damp cold. You're on a platform that smells of iron and rain. The ground trembles as another train pulls in, groaning under the weight of young men and government-issued dreams. Your boots feel heavier than they should. Maybe it's the mud, or maybe it's what they mean. Someone shouts your name. You turn, and there's your mother, eyes red, handkerchief clutched tight. Behind her, your father stands straight and silent. The air is thick with hundreds of other goodbyes. Mothers crying softly, lovers waving scarves like fragile white birds. The train whistle cuts through it all. Long, low, final. You don't remember climbing aboard, only that suddenly you're inside. The floor shaking, the windows fogged, and the world outside sliding away like a dream you're already forgetting. The wheels begin to turn, metal on metal, A low groan grows into a steady, hypnotic rhythm. It's the heartbeat of the journey, the sound of leaving everything you've ever known. Inside the carriage, men sit in silence. Some stare at their boots. Others fiddle with cigarettes they aren't allowed to light. A few try to smile, but the sound dies quickly, swallowed by the rhythm of the train. The wool of your new uniform itches your neck. Your collar is too tight. Outside, the station lights fade until you're moving through open country. You think of Homa, Mugavore milk. The sound of the clock ticking, and they feel impossibly far away now. Hours later, the train slows. Sighing, a station appears through the haze. The door slides open, and cold air rushes in. Out, let's... The order cuts through the quiet like a blade. You stumble onto the platform. You're not dreaming anymore. You're here. A sergeant walks down the line, his eyes unreadable. "Welcome to your new life, gentlemen," he says, his voice flat. "You'll learn quickly, or you won't last long." The trucks rumble forward, and you climb in. The road is a long strip of frozen dirt that rattles every bone in your body. By the time you arrive, the sun is low. The camp is rows of wooden barracks, surrounded by wire and mud. Everything smells of damp wood, oil, and boiled cabbage. Line up. Move. 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 The voice is rough, used to being obeyed. An officer walks the line, his face carved from fatigue. "From this moment," he says, "you're soldiers. No excuses. No compliance. No going home. Understand?" And just like that, the last of your old life begins to slip away. In the barracks, you drop your pack on a bunk. The air is warm, but carries the scent of damp cloth and tired men. You realize the fear isn't loud. It's quiet. It hides in the spaces between breaths. Later, you stand before a cracked mirror, helmet in your hands. You barely recognize the reflection. The boy who boarded the train is gone, replaced by someone with straighter shoulders and darker eyes. You run a hand over the coarse fabric of the uniform. It's heavy, not just from the material, but from what it means. Responsibility, expectation, and a kind of loneliness that no amount of company can cure. The days blur together. The bugle sounds before dawn. Morning, drill, meal, not repeated, until you forget what came before. You move because everyone moves. You shout because everyone shouts. And slowly, your body learns to obey before your mind can question. Be mid-morning. Your hands burn from the rifle. Lunch is thin, metallic soup. Afternoons bring more running. Crawling through mud under barbed wire while officers shout, you become efficient. Your body hardens. You no longer look for meaning in the drills, only rhythm. The officers call it discipline. You call it forgetting. But not everyone lasts. One man collapses during a march and is taken away. He's there one morning and gone the next. It's then you realize what training really is. It's not about strength. It's about erasing the boy who hesitates and replacing him with someone who won't. Someone who can face fear and still keep walking, the sergeant says. Pain makes men, but you think it makes ghosts instead. Evening falls again. You sit cleaning your rifle, hands moving without thought. For a moment, you drift back to that first morning. It feels like a lifetime ago. You wonder what that boy would think of you now covered in mud. Heart quieter than the silence after roll call. And you realize he wouldn't recognize you. Not anymore. Your boots feel heavier than yesterday. Breakfast is a small piece of hard bread, dry and bitter. You chew it slowly, because the thought of eating anything else feels like a luxury you can't afford. Some men laugh quietly as they try to pass it around, or trade crumbs for a sip of water. A joke is made low and hesitant. It dies quickly. Everyone knows it's just a thin veil over exhaustion. You open a letter from home. The paper smells faintly of ink and love, and your hands tremble as you read it by the weak morning light. The words are simple. A mother writing of warmth, a sweetheart promising she waits. It's comforting, in a fragile, fleeting way. Then you fold it back into your pocket. The war is already waiting. The mud here has a life of its own. It seeps into boots, into sleeves, into every corner of your uniform. It smells like wet earth and rot. Your hands are stiff, fingers cracked and bleeding where the gloves rub. Your knees ache from kneeling for hours in trenches that are too shallow, too damp. Every morning, you feel as though the ground is trying to swallow you whole. Exhaustion arrives not just at night. It arrives with the dawn, in every step, in every breath. You walk, march, stand guard, shovel mud, all while carrying the weight of a soaked uniform and a heavy rifle. Sleep is no longer something you expect. It comes in fragments, nodding off against a trench wall, an eyelid closing for a minute, and when you do sleep, dreams are filled with mud and smoke. The war didn't just kill men with bullets, it stole their sleep first. Men joked quietly in the trenches to hold on, whispering about impossible things. Home, love, summer fields. It is all temporary. It is all fragile. Even here, in mud and rain, men cling to small acts of meaning. A helmet is carved with initials JM, or our team names of brothers, sisters, mothers. It's a small rebellion against the emptiness, a soft whisper of life, and a place designed to erase it. Letters from home are sacred. You touch the paper gently, memorizing every line, letting the words sink slowly into you. It is a temporary escape, a bridge back to life. But the moment fades. The mud calls, the cold calls, the endless waiting calls. Laughter rises sometimes, low, quiet, fragile, and then fades. The mud never dries. The clothes never clean. The hands never heal. Every morning, you wake expecting something in order. An attack, a sign of life. Most mornings nothing comes, and yet, every morning, you wake. This is the rhythm of life on the front. Waiting, enduring, surviving. It wears a man down, day by day, night by night, and then, one day, it stops. A command is shouted, a map is drawn, a glance exchanged, and suddenly, the order comes to advance. You grip your rifle tighter, feeling the weight of every day behind it, every step, every memory, every letter. The world you knew is gone. Ahead lies the unknown. The morning is strangely quiet. Mist hangs over the trenches, curling around sandbags and wooden planks. The earth glistens with moisture, each blade of grass heavy with dew. The mud is slick beneath my boots, and every step leaves a slow, reluctant imprint. I grip my rifle tightly, knuckles white beneath my gloves. The leather strap bites into my shoulder, though I barely notice. Everything has weight, now the uniform, the pack, the rifle, the anticipation that hums in my chest like a low, steady drum. Somewhere in the distance, tanks growl softly, their engines vibrating through the ground. I hear it before I see it. A low, rolling tremor. And my stomach clenches. Officers move among us, faces tight with concentration, voices quiet but firm. Orders! I whispered now, not shouted. Every man knows that soon the silence will break, and when it does, nothing will be the same. I glance at the men beside me. Somiare Pelsam stare blankly into space. A few laugh nervously, a joke dying before it reaches my ear. You can almost feel the tension coating the skin of everyone around you, thick, invisible, heavy. I think of the letters in my pocket, of the faces at home, of my mother's hands, the smell of bread baking, a small-town street. The memory is comforting, yet it is distant, impossible. I draw in a slow, deliberate breath, the smell of wet earth, smoke from distant fires, and the faint tanks of cordite drifts into my nose. It is sharp, bitter, unmistakable. My stomach twists, my chest tightens. I tell myself to breathe again, and again. Each inhale, each exhale, a tether to the life I still have tenet behinds. A single shot cracks across the air sharp, metallic, terrifying, followed by another and another. The quiet shatters like glass. Tanks roll forward, crushing mud and earth beneath their treads. The ground trembles, a low rumble that runs through my boots, up my legs, and settles in my chest. Smoke rises, curling like serpents, thick and choking. The smell of burning fuel and cordite mixes with mud and fear. I taste it on my lips, bitter and metallic. The first men fall. I don't see them clearly at first, just shadows in motion. A sudden absence where a body had been. My heart hammers a frantic rhythm that fights against the practiced calm I be cultivated. I move because everyone moves. I shout because everyone shouts. But my mind reels. Noise is everywhere. The roar of tanks, the staccato of rifle fire, the crack of distant artillery. I can't tell where the enemy is, or which direction to run. Orders are shouted, half heard, half ignored. I fire blindly, aiming at flashes of movement, at shapes that might be men, might be smoke, might be nothing at all. I stumble in the mud, boots slipping, rifle heavy in my hands. A comrade falls beside me, face pressed into the earth. I reach for him, but someone yells, and I realize he is gone. Another ghost swallowed by the chaos. I swallow the rising panic. I don't stop. I cannot stop. Time loses meaning. Minutes stretch into hours. I move. I shoot. I duck. I run. The sky is gray. Rain begins to fall in slow, cold sheets, soaking me to the bone. The mud sticks, heavier than ever, sucking at my boots, my legs, my will. I see a hand sticking out from the Muda helmet nearby, a rifle gone. I don't look closer. I don't want to. I know the cost. I know the faces that will never return. I stumble into a shallow ditch, shaking, exhausted, drenched. I pull my uniform close to my chest, trying to keep what little warmth I have. A friend, someone I trained with, someone who laughed beside me in the barracks lies nearby. I blink, and he's still there, still breathing, but his eyes are glassy with shock. I want to speak, to comfort, to do something, but my voice fails. It is a numbness that arrives suddenly, overwhelming, protective, terrible. You don't celebrate surviving, I think to myself. You just count the faces that didn't. The words echo in my head like a bell in the fog. The rain falls harder, washing away mud, washing away traces of movement, washing away the shape of the world. My fingers are stiff, my lips cracked, my chest tight. I do not cry. Crying would take energy I do not have. I look up. The sky is a uniform gray. Smoke hangs low. The ground trembles with the weight of unseen engines. I close my eyes for a moment, and in that brief darkness, I think of home, of letters, of bread, of summer sun. And then I open them again. The battle waits. The morning arrives slowly, reluctantly, as though the world itself is unsure how to begin after so much destruction. You awaken to silence, the kind that was almost painful after months of constant noise. No artillery echoes in the distance. No tanks rumble over churned earth. No sharp crack of a rifle pierces the sky. There is only the soft whisper of wind through the trees and the gentle drip of rain from makeshift roofs. You lie there for a long moment, feeling the weight of exhaustion pressing down on your chest, on your shoulders, on every aching muscle. Your uniform, soaked and stiff from the previous day's mud and rain, clings to your skin like a second layer of memory. Slowly, you push yourself up. The ground, once churned by the endless march of men and tanks, seems almost peaceful. Yet, it is not, untouched. Every footprint, every indentation, tells a story of struggle, fear, and survival. The men around you stir as well. Faces pale, eyes wide, some unsure if they can even trust the quiet. Some whisper prayers, as if speaking aloud might shatter this delicate peace. You glance at each of them and realize the truth. The war is over, but the world has not yet caught up with your mind, with your ruer body with your memory. You breathe deeply, letting the cool air fill your lungs, tasting the lingering scent of cordite mixed with wet earth. It's a strange, almost comforting scent, a reminder of survival. And as you stand there, boots heavy, hands trembling slightly, you begin to let yourself believe that this is real. This is the quiet after the storm. The world is still, and you are alive. The light of morning spreads, soft and gentle, almost golden. The rain has softened to a drizzle, leaving a mist that clings to your hair and uniform. You walk slowly through the trenches, your rifle slung loosely, its weight a reminder of survival. Every sound is heightened in this quiet, the drip of water from dugouts, the rustle of leaves. The battlefields, though familiar, seem to breathe a different air now. Some men lie down and close their eyes, almost afraid to hope. Others shuffle through the mud, their heads bowed. You hear whispered conversations about the changing sky, the birds returning, the distant hum of life beyond the trenches. For the first time in months, the pressure, the constant alertness, begins to ease. Then, the whistle of the first train cuts across the fields, startling in its unfamiliarity. Men gather slowly along the platform, boots caked with mud, eyes wide and distant. Inside the train, the rhythmic clatter of wheels against the tracks creates a hypnotic cadence. You lean back, closing your eyes, letting the motion carry you. Outside, fields pass by, rivers glint, and villages sit quietly, seemingly untouched by the horrors you've endured. A comrade pathies you a small piece of bread, hard and dry, but comforting. You accept it with a nod, savoring the quiet acknowledgement of shared survival. This journey is not just physical. It's a slow reintroduction to a world that continued beyond the battlefield. Stepping off the train, the familiar smells of home reach you bread baking, wood smoke, damp earth. They're comforting, yet strange. Family waits on the platform, faces tense with hope and unspoken worry. You embrace them gently, almost cautiously, aware of the distance that months have created. You walk slowly through streets you once knew intimately. Houses seem smaller now, streets narrower. Neighbors smile and wave, offering words of welcome. You smile faintly, nod, feeling the subtle dissonance between the life outside and the life you endured. The first few days at home move in a slow, dreamlike rhythm. You wake to the smell of fresh bread and boiling tea. Everything is soft, familiar, and yet alien. Your hands, once steady with the weight of a rifle, tremble slightly as they reach for utensils. Meals feel strange. Soft bread, butter, warm stew luxuries you scarcely remember. And yet, a small part of you remains alert, listening for danger that will not come. In quiet moments, you find yourself tracing your fingers along door frames, imagining the trenches here, imagining comrades now gone. Sleep is fitful, mixing memory and reality. Yet gradually, the gentle rhythm of home begins to anchor you. The warmth of a blanket, the hum of distant voices, these small things tether you to life, one slow, deliberate step at a time. Days grow longer, and you find comfort in small routines. Morning walks, tending a small garden, feeling the soil between your fingers. Each act, though small, anchors you in the present. You allow yourself to laugh softly with family, to watch children play, to feel the warmth of the sun. Yet always, in moments of stillness, memory drifts back. It's not painful, exactly. It's reflective, a slow acknowledgement that life carries both joy and sorrow intertwined. And finally, the nights grow long, and the world sleeps softly around you. You lie in your bed, uniform stored away, boots clean, rifle dismantled. The air carries the faint scents of bread, of flowers, of earth warmed by the day. The world is calm, quiet, and safe. You reflect on the journey, the endless nights, the faces of comrades, the small moments of courage. Hope exists here, in subtle, fragile forms. A letter answered, a smile shared, a gentle breeze through an open window. Each small moment is a thread weaving you back into life, a reminder that survival continues beyond the battlefield. And now, as the world sleeps again, we can finally lay down our helmets. The night is soft. The world is calm. Your body relaxes. Your mind rests. And for now, that is enough. The year has turned its final page. It is 1945, and the world is quiet. This isn't the silence of fear, but the quiet of survival, of endurance, of breath finally unburdened. You awaken in the soft morning light, the kind that spills gently through the curtains, filling your room with a pale, golden glow. The world outside moves slowly, almost delicately, as if testing the weight of peace for the first time in years. You rise, careful, feeling the lingering stiffness of months spent in mud, in rain, in trenches where the earth seemed endless and danger never ceased. Your uniform is gone now, folded neatly in a corner, replaced with soft fabrics, warm shoes, the familiar comfort of home. Your hands, once calloused by the weight of rifles and shovels, now brush lightly across polished tables, soft bed sheets, the smooth surface of a teacup. Outside, the streets are filled with the gentle hum of life. Children run freely, their laughter bright and unthinking, echoing across cobblestones. Birds perch on rooftops, their songs crisp in the clear air, a melody unheard for far too long. Smoke curls lazily from chimneys, carrying the smell of bread baking, of wood fires, of life simply existing. You pause, letting it all sink in. This is the world you fought to return to. And it is beautiful, fragile, and alive. You remember the journey, the long nights of fear, the endless mud, the taste of hard bread, the faces of friends gone too soon. Those memories remain, stitched quietly into the fabric of your being. They are not gone, but they are no longer sharp enough to wound. They are part of you, part of the story that carried you from the trenches to this calm, sunlit morning. You reflect on the courage it took, not just your own, but that of everyone who endured. The soldiers who marched, who dug, who waited, who hoped. The letters exchanged by candlelight. The whispered jokes shared in fear. The small acts of humanity that became lifelines. Every small gesture, every flicker of hope, every heartbeat that survived has brought you to this moment. You step outside, feeling the earth beneath your feet, soft and warm after months of cold, churned mud. The wind brushes across your face, gentle and cleansing. You breathe deeply, savoring each inhale of fresh air, letting it fill the spaces left empty by fear and loss. The sun on your shoulders is not just warmth, it is affirmation, a quiet promise that life continues, that laughter can return, that you can exist beyond survival. Children run past you, brushing your legs, chattering, their bright eyes reflecting a world of wonder and hope. You smile softly, a rare, unguarded smile that reaches the heart without effort. The world is different, yes, changed by loss, by endurance, by history, but it is still capable of joy. It is still capable of you. You return to your home, to the soft glow of familiar walls, to the warmth of family, to the comfort of routine. Each small act is grounding. Lighting a candle, preparing a simple meal, tending to a small garden. Each moment is proof You survived. You are here. You are home. As evening falls, the world quiets again. The sun dips behind distant hills, painting the sky in gentle shades of pink, orange, and soft violet. You sit by the window, watching the last light fade, letting the days settle into memory. Your body relaxes, your mind eases, and the slow rhythm of life carries you gently forward. Tonight, as you rest, think of them, the soldiers, the friends, the ones who stood beside you and the ones who could not return. Honor their courage, their laughter, their humanity. Let gratitude fill the spaces left by sorrow. And when you close your eyes, let the world drift softly around you. Let the noise fade. The war is over now. The fields grow quiet again. The stars shine steady, and dawn will come gentle and new. Life is waiting, bright and full of possibility, ready to be embraced, one slow, soft moment at a time. If this story helped you drift through time tonight, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next journey, sleep well, soldier.